Alright, folks, welcome back, everyone. 欢迎大家回来。今天是第220天. It is day 220. Got a few, and I did end up recalling the two that I forgot yesterday, which was 智, or ji, as in male, ji and yo. Oh no, yi as in doubt. Let's see if I remember how to write them. One of the others were Cho, right? Cho, which is take out. Yeah, Wei is maintain. I think my ways are like my way, and my way is getting out of control. It's quite a lot. There's also Chen for lining, I think. Yeah. And then the two with G, male was right. G. And then Yi. Yi was Zamboni, right? Zamboni is spoon. I'm gonna say foreman, arrow, and pointer. And this is Yi or doubt. Let's go double check, because I'm not quite sure about the right one. Oh no, it's not. It's like an elbow. Of course it's an elbow. Okay. Oh, that's from yesterday. Oh, and then that's a unique. That's fine. Oh, correct. Elbow, not foreman. Elbow. All right. Okay, let's get into this, shall we?
漏洞
漏洞。漏洞。leaky 洞。What is that? Mask? Leaky cave? A leak? A leaky hole is probably what I would. A cave is a hole as well. So you have a leaky hole. That's a leak. So don't really need to refer to this as cave. 我们必须 sorry 我们必须调我们必须调 调布，调布，所有的漏洞。We need 调布 return to recover all the leaks. So we need to fix all the leaks. Okay. Oh, 修. Oh man, that's 修, not 修. That's why it didn't make any sense. I'm like, repair? How do you, yeah, 修复. Return to repair. Okay. Ugh. That was a little yikes.
漏洞，遵守，
遵守，遵守 to guard, to obey, to abide by. Interesting. So to abide by is to obey the rules and to guard yourself against breaking them. A way to think about it. Okay. 我们必须遵守规则 no 规则
我们必须遵守规则。
Okay.
遵守，
遵守 okay. ，obey
煤矿，
okay, 煤矿 煤 coal and mine, coal mine. Yeah, 煤矿 Okay. On the head. 他在煤矿工作 Right. Working in the coal mines.
煤矿，掌声，
掌声 palm 声 sound. Oh, palm sound. Oh, that makes sense. Or palm voice. Applause. Fair enough. Or clapping. Yes. 掌声我可以能这里我可以从这里听到掌声。
我可以从这里听到掌声。
I can hear clapping from here. Yep, I can hear the applause from here. Yeah.
掌声，竞争，
竞争 It's interesting, since I've spent so much of my early days reading. It's interesting to be able to know what the meaning is of the stuff without even having to know what it sounds like, actually. So like when I'm reading this, I already know the meaning as I'm reading it, but I don't like it takes me a bit to vocalize it. But it takes me so much long to vocalize it than to say, they won the competition. Or they won that competition, I suppose. Competition 竞争 compete contend 他赢了那场 Is this still 场那场竞争竞争 Okay.
漏洞，
漏洞，
煤矿，
煤矿，
遵守，
遵守，
竞争，
竞争，
掌声，
掌声。Okay, next one. 竞选，竞选，竞选 competition and choose to run for. Yeah, so you're choosing to compete. Right, to run for office, choosing to compete. 他决定，竞选，竞选市场，
他决定竞选市长。
竞选市长，市长。Okay. 竞选，
煤气，
煤气 coal, get the energy or air, gas. Yeah. 我们用煤气来做饭。
煤气，镭射，
thunder electrified body. What is that? Thunder shoot. Okay. A laser gun, huh? Oh, 镭射. Oh, this is this is a loan word. 镭射. It's supposed to sound like laser. 镭射. That's how I would read it. 镭射. Or even maybe even 镭射. Laser. Yeah, 镭射 would be fine too instead of 镭射. Although it's kind of cute. I mean, like, shoot thunder. It's kind of like lasers shooting thunder, or like I know thunder is not the light part. It would be shooting lightning would be kind of closer to laser. But I think this is a coincidence. But 镭射 would be okay too. For laser, 镭射. What would be a good for it? Oh no, there aren't quite good the's though. 镭射. 镭射是强大的武器. I'm not sure actually how lasers are deployed as a weapon. Pardon my ignorance.
镭射，
镭射. 镭射. Okay.
相仿，
相仿 mutual 仿. Mutual what is that? Mutual imitation. Yeah, similar. Mutual imitation. Alike. 我们两个的年 something 相仿。
他们两个的年龄相仿。
Ling? Interesting. That's an interesting Ling. It kind of looks like Ling. In two different ways, it kind of looks like Ling. Or it looks like Ling, sort of.
相仿，
相仿. Okay.
脚掌，
脚掌 foot palm. The palm of our foot is the sole of our foot. 我的脚掌痛. Okay.
脚掌，
I think soul is perfectly fine. You don't have to say more than the soul of our hands. Sorry.
竞选、
竞选、
镭射、
镭射、
煤气、
煤气、
脚掌、
脚掌、
相仿、
相仿、
仿冒品、
仿冒品、counterfeit goods、仿冒品、imitation 冒品、veil. What is veil? Imitation risk. Imitation risk. Goods. Counterfeit. Makes sense. Fake goods. Well, I'm actually kind of curious how Chinese speakers express something that is fake but not counterfeit. Did they use the same expression for counterfeit as a cheap imitation versus an alternative? I was watching sometimes YouTube's so sometimes, you know, I watch a lot of multicultural, like a multicultural or transcultural, I don't know what you call these now, multicultural or transcultural. So hear me out, I'm thinking of a new term. I don't know if people use this, but transcultural is someone who I would say like the idea of another culture, so they go and experience the culture, but they don't commit to internalizing that culture. So more like a tourist, right? Like someone who wants to superficially or romanticize another culture. I feel like that's more of a transcultural thing. And then like they're dabbling, right? And then we have multiculturalism, which are people who typically spend most of their lives in, like, they have to adjust to two separate cultures that require either code switching or internalizing and blending the two. So because of that, YouTube does serve me videos where it's a mixed bag. And before I came on today, I was looking for some talking topics because I was very exhausted yesterday from Wakotabi discussion, or the thing I was recording. And it was some person who was eating sushi, right? Sushi. And they talked about how they eat American sushi, right? And then they went to Japan and they found that whatever they tried was not up to, like, it wasn't for them. It didn't agree with their palate or something like that. And of course, as expected, some of the highest rated comments are accusations of this person deliberately underplaying sushi in Japan in order to rage bait people. And it was very difficult to know what the intention is. But this is where it gets to the point of there's a difference between transculturalism, which is what I'm using right now, but people who understand or romanticize a culture, versus understanding the normalized behavior and its impact on people's preferences, right? How is this related to Wakotabi yesterday? Was that language learning also has this dissonance where people have potential to appreciate things in the same way, perhaps, but ultimately the reality is they choose preferentially based on their normalized behaviors. So, and then when that normalized behavior becomes stigmatized, which is what happens in language learning as well. One is a cheap counterfeit, and one is a cheap imitation that is often a double standard for the other. So in terms of language learning, for example, there are easily more stronger voices for particular things and not other things. And they often ascribe to words like serious, real, natural versus fake, unnatural, and cheap. Right? And I'm often kind of curious so I'm kind of curious when you like talk to, say, a Chinese person, right? Or someone of Chinese origin who's a native speaker, do they, Nihongo jouzu desu, right? Well, jouzu desu all over you in the sense of it's empty flattery versus sincere astonishment or admiration, right? And every time I see counterfeit, it's associated with being fake, right, or imitation. But here's the thing: it's pretty. I think when when you start to appreciate the way humans, mortality and the idea of how human legacy works, nearly everything in existence is an imitation. Until it's not. Until that imitation surpasses what it imitates, right? And then it sets the standard. So oftentimes standard fluctuates, but we throw around words like imitation, counterfeits, and in my opinion, as in I'm including myself, right, on the internet, you can't help but do the human condition in which you take the gold standard and you compare everything to the gold standard. So you sideline anything outside of the gold standard until it ceased to be a gold standard. Then you jump ship and embrace the new gold standard. Or you can choose to be righteously indignant and stick to whatever standard that you are. So I think over a course of a lifetime, someone's going to have something they do in the position of being imitating, and then a position in which there's a gold standard. And oftentimes when it comes to foods, right? Foods, it's double standards, especially from my perspective, who grew up in the United States. And most definitely, it's incredibly relevant to me because a low-hanging fruit cheap shot is always saying like the Chinese food in the United States is not real, because they have to qualify it by saying American Chinese food. Like, well, it's a do if you don't, a damn if you do, damn if you don't situation, because if they called it American food, it doesn't stop the double standards from happening and saying, well, that's Chinese food that they're trying to imitate, but they're calling it American. So it's a lose-lose situation, but ultimately it's a cognitive dissonance to people who aren't multicultural. That sounds very direct, but if one cannot appreciate living in more than one culture, then yes, it would be very, very distinctively easy and trivial to tell people what is the imitation, which is cheaper, and what isn't. Because you don't live in an environment in which you find that the integration of things is potentially not just an imitation, but it could be emergently superseding the previous, right? All of existing human history right now to this day is a emergence of what preceded us. So as a stopgap to introduce the human condition, it would be incredibly unintellectual and incredibly asinine, or maybe even closed off and culturally discriminatory or openly discriminatory, in my opinion, to suggest that anything that comes after something is rendered a cheap facsimile of what it's based on. I think those are individuals who believe that whatever they do are not subject to change because they believe they are always in the right. And when you speak like that in public, I tend to try not to counter argue or discuss anything with such a personality, in my opinion, in order to be agreeable. Because when you start saying things like that, it's almost as though you have to qualify anything. So the idea is to take the path of least resistance for those, right? It will be a double standard regardless. How do I say this? Authenticity and traditionalism and origin is not falsifiable when it comes to like triviality, or maybe not even trivialities, but topics of secession, right? Topics of secession, when you're talking about someone who is constantly focused on origination, their theories and their feelings and stuff, it's not falsifiable. It's a fact. Something came before you. Something came before everything that you observe now. Human history is linear but non-continuous. As in, like, between each individual, between each group, civilization, it's discontinuous. The people of today do not retain all of the emotional memories of the people of yesterday and the like experience and whatnot. They can be preserved in the best way possible, you know, as comprehensively as possible, vicariously. But I think that's instant do not recommend for me. So when I see that someone cultivates and does not communicate the celebration of cultures, then to me, I prefer not to be associated with that. So just had a thought of this when I was watching the video, and I can understand that you know, that person was just, well, it appears that person was sharing their opinion, right? However, because they are a content creator, it's a public display. So the reflection of your community, whether you think you have control over it or not, is also reflective of what your content attracts. And in my opinion, there was an incredible amount of bigotry in the comments. And that speaks volumes to what type of, you know, reception or presentation that person has. And it happens a lot, especially if you're diving into multiculturalism. I think the internet actually it's kind of a little bit ironic nowadays, but if 10 years ago, maybe like a decade ago, I would say without a doubt internet increases diversity, right? Diversity, acceptance, tolerance, and the sharing of ideas. But due to the advent of merchandising, marketing, and optimization, it has overcompensated for optimizing the chaos, you know, the spuriousness of the internet. Like, it was way diverse. It was the Wild West. So in order to optimize that and normalize it, algorithms and AI generated stuff and like pre-selection took foothold, and I think it overcompensated for how wild and unregulated the internet is in terms of the matter of taste and culture. Other things, still the Wild West, right? But in this case, I think commentary and understanding about cultural exchange and cultural interactions and celebration of a cultural perspective, like different cultural perspective, is to me the vocal commentary is far less diverse than it has been 10 years ago, because now most of the normalization is established, right? The standardization are established by whoever is the loudest. Sometimes it's the majority, sometimes it's the minority. It's very difficult to tell. Like, for example, what is a common notion about the United States? Oh, all the foods are sugary, and that's why it can never taste good, or it can never be something you want. Those are like 2 or 3 really wild in my opinion. I have 2 or 3 really wild reservations about that type of statement. First, that sugary foods are not good or taste good to a person. It is in fact the reason they taste good is the problem. So it's already oxymoronic to say that. And then suggesting that people who like healthy foods, or quote unquote healthy foods, versus people who understand how to eat in moderation, that those are 2 different things. But usually people who say individual who eats healthy foods are typically also coincidentally people who moderate their eating. And those people who moderate their eating are human beings who will still be able to appreciate why sugary foods are good and can be prone to overeating. So it's not the sugary food that makes food bad, right? And therefore somehow is attached to the cultural identity of people's palates. That's coming, that might be an ignorance of culture, ignorance of behavior, and also an ignorance of science and ignorance of biology, all wrapped in one. That's kind of like the reason why I'm being a little bit more pedantic about this is because those individuals tend to follow up and try to explain the science and the cultural history and the relationship with things, but it's more like echo chamber things coming from one side, and it's cherry picking all the things that support their argument without understanding that their argument makes for an argument against the very thing they're defending. Like, what happens then, someone would cite an example that counter argues their example. It's like, well, yes, because it exists. Sugary foods exist unanimously. It's ubiquitous. And biology didn't suddenly change to make sugary fruit less appealing. The idea is the cultural aspect of moderating eating and availability of like ingredients and uses of ingredients normalize people's behaviors. Right? Like sensitivity, desensitivity, aging, many of that does impact it. Like here's a really fun theory or thought experiment. Obviously, I'm not saying this is true or not, but it would be kind of be interesting if the overall age and the people who are determining what kind of foods are served and passed on impact dramatically the perception of what food is good. Especially on the internet, this is very relevant. But in Japan, there's a proportionate authority for the older generation, selectively significantly larger body of authority figures, who also biologically is older. So it would be fun to see how strong of a correlation, right? Again, correlation is not the same as causation, but we'd see if there's a significant correlation between how old the average body of Japan is, correlated with who the authorities are that regulate and like produce food in Japan, and how that reflects and associate and correlate with the biology of food sensitivity when it comes to palates, right? When given to the devices of the people who claim certain foods are good and certain foods are bad, inherently sugary foods are good. Biologically, sugary foods are good. So if you, what is a great example of this? Despite growing up with specific diets, and then you move to a country that either have more or less of very specific tendencies, the same human would adjust to the environment that they have, not the other way around. So suggesting and comparing apples and oranges like that is pretty foolish or the word I typically use is asinine. It's an incredibly ignorant commentary, and then trying to make an argument that it has something to do with the education of people is even more wilder. So it gets to the point where it's very revealing when someone only talks about negative things. Meanwhile, they're using an internet powered by the very culture that they dislike or, you know, show disdain for. Really, really contentious stuff. But I watched one of the shorts. Someone didn't like Japanese sushi, so firestorm because of a trend. Because of a trend. And this person just so happens to be American. So there you have the low-hanging fruit argument. You know, when you spin things like there's a lot of counter statistics as well for that stuff. Like the people who invest most are the people who have the problem in the alternatives, not the other way around. There's also that. Like if you have a problem, then the culture that's actively addressing the problem is the one probably doing the most for regulating the thing, not the other way around. If people don't have problems, then they don't necessarily address it. So when people talk about this, like if you think about it this way, there's a prevailing misconception that a system tend to have poor awareness and poor like regulations and qualities of the solution. So like say a country that has a symptom, so like they're very unhealthy or something is correlated with weight gain, for example, and that somehow translates to the idea that their food that they're producing are all statistically intrinsically unhealthy. Here's the thing though, when you're observing something across a time, typically the system that has the problem that they're addressing will likely be the system that has an increased attempt to counter it. So I would love to see, as a thought experiment, what are the measures and how healthy are foods in general, like in the innovations. I would actually even argue that not only is it not a big distance between the healthy foods that exist in the United States versus Japan, it still have to take into consideration the normalized behavior of what is there, right? It's not one to just have healthy foods. It's also one to create a cultural environment that creates that sustainable habit to want to do that, or even to recondition. Imagine telling someone how to recondition the way they write internet comments out of ignorance and bigotry versus being like compassionate, right? If you can't do that, I can only imagine how hard it is for someone to convince someone that it might not be the intrinsic nature of the food that you keep blaming. It's the intrinsic nature of being human. Sugary foods are not bad. They're actually good. That's why they are can be abused. They can be unregulated, not the other way around. If you can explain that a healthy food is inherently bad, like a sugary food is inherently bad or not useful, usually I would say the consequence is that it would eliminate that food. It would self-eliminate, right? Like less people would eat it over time if it's truly bad. I understand there's a little mix. When people say bad, they mean it's so good it's bad, right? To make it's so good it's bad is through moderate eating, you know, like regulatory eating, not that sugar is bad. It's one of those like fitness nutrition trends that are happening right now. Kind of like saying fats are bad, carbs are bad, that kind of thing. Well, it's part of your biological makeup. So perhaps a little bit of education on the side may make you less discriminatory. It's not a big deal though. I think that's, in my opinion, that's your pretty average internet commentary nowadays. And I want to take this back to language learning. It's very similar to language learning. I mean, we still exchange ideas about other things, right? Doesn't really have to be about food. I typically observe these patterns and see if they exist somewhere else. They exist in language learning. Spent kind of like 3 or 4 hours yesterday talking about that. In fact, by sheer coincidence, after I mentioned what I mentioned yesterday, I looked at a review again. A new review or commentary popped up on like the Wakutabi page, their storefront, like the store page, and sure enough, a serious language learner showed up and trivialized what it means to be serious and not serious. And they behaved and typed exactly like the prototypic archetype that I was talking about yesterday. You know, like I already said, serious language learners know what they want, but they also make comments that do not concern people who are not serious language learners. And those language learners that are not serious about language learning can still learn a language. Not only that, they may become serious language learners one day. But that doesn't stop a serious language learner from forgetting that and making an asinine comment like there's no value in what anything does that doesn't cater to a serious language learner. That's the same thing as saying I love Japanese sushi and I can't love any other sushi. Right? Quite similar mindsets when you draw the parallelisms. And every day, you know, I think about these things. I read comments, studies, right? Actually, more so nowadays, I read studies because of comments. So when someone says something like, oh yeah, see, I was right all along, and I would go and they would say, this is the study that proves it. Then I would go to read the study, and it would be some very neutral, fairly agnostic writing because it's research, right? And it has lots of perspectives in the paper due to having to satisfy peer review. Meanwhile, the comment that made me read that primary literature was ultimately to refute how that person probably, I would say, 9 out of 10 times did not read whatever the primary literature was. They cited the paper and then maybe like glanced I mean, I would even argue they probably listened to a summary of someone who made a summary of that primary literature and passed it off as knowledge of the primary literature. That's how you get certain foods are always superior to another food. That's how you get those impressions. Or certain foods made by certain people are different from certain people who make the same food because it can never be the same. Meanwhile, those are also the same people who may qualify that all people are the same while they're all the different at the same time. It's an argument of convenience, much like when you criticize and try to observe language learning methods. It's often presented with evidence of convenience. I think there would be a wonderful, I'm sure there's a masterclass somewhere. Someone's offering a masterclass on this, making money off of it, I suppose. Understanding how to write a analytical piece versus how to write a persuasive piece. I don't think people ever type comments and make conversations. Like the vast majority of people online are far more practiced and probably incredibly skillful, maybe even profitable, on writing persuasive pieces. They talk in a manner that is indicative and bias, right? And I think here's the even deeper cut. People who think they're agnostic in their writing in the commentary state that they're not biased in a biased way. Like it's very telltale sign. Like, hey, I don't mean to be offensive or not about like how trashy American foods are, but that's what I mean. How to say you're not biased in the most biased way you can possibly say it. And I'm not sure of the intent. We're talking about language here, right? So we're talking about communication and language. This is what I mean when I go back to this term. A lot of terms that I've been learning in Japanese and Chinese starts to make me wonder, like, what is the essence of the use case for these terms? Like, does counterfeit goods, what does that apply to that is relevant to my lifestyle, right? When will I use this term, or maybe have to construe this term in some way? This one, I'm very curious. A counterfeit goods is very flexible, right? In my opinion, it could be something of legal matters, like, oh, it's not allowed goods, right? A good that shouldn't be counterfeited, or is it talking about a lesser product? All right, and it has lots of cultural relevance, what you refer to it as. It could be as even serious as, am I a counterfeit Chinese person? Right? I mean, I've already been told, I've been watching some interviews from this other guy who interviews international celebrities or outreach celebrities that live two lives. They live half and half. There was an interview with a Hawaiian American Japanese person, and they were talking about how they were bridging and trying to be supportive in raising awareness and integrating and associating, taking exchange, like cultural exchange. And my first thought was, what are the chances in the interview somewhere they also mentioned the idea about being fake or being accused of not being real, right? And that's the life of someone who is multicultural versus someone who is monocultural or strongly monocultural or preferentially monocultural. And comes up every time. I think there's no shortage. I find even some of my most reasonable people that I've met over the years, when we talk, it stems from, it can be stemmed indirectly from the things they talk about. Like things like, oh yeah, but you know, I really like the original more. That's not to say that I can't be great friends with them. I'm actually great friends with, or at least I think we can still share mutual space and learn from each other and whatnot. But there are propensities and preferential things that are fairly hard-coded by our environment. So if you stay in an environment in which you are rarely ever contested, the internet, because you can hit an ignore button whenever you want, you can close the window whenever you want. If you fully embrace that, then also accept the consequences that when you converse with someone, you rarely ever sound worldly. You usually sound ignorant, right? And that is a consequence that you must navigate in your own way of defense, right? You can leave a comment, say the most double standard, discriminatory comment, and then you can close it and never see the comment again. That's one defense mechanism you can use in order to always be right about your comments. Alternatively, you have other behaviors. Like, for example, whenever I ask someone, did you like the new series? It's like, no, I hate the new series. It's just never going to be like the original. I'm like, yeah, I feel ya. And that bleeds into pretty much a lot of the behavioralisms of that person. It tells a lot from that one comment. Like, if you are constantly weighing the original, then I often wonder how much of an impact of that preference would be to their livelihood of change. If you always think something is always the same and always the best, what are your potential, right? Your preferential potential to iterate and improve. I think for me, I see that a lot because my life has shaped me to see that a lot. So whenever someone tells me, oh yeah, you know, I do the same thing I do every year, it's like, well, perhaps this year may be different. At least this year I get to talk to you about your days, right? I'm different. Let's try to be a little different this time. Oh, they're lucky. Alright, that's good enough for today. I gotta get... You don't have a lot of time? That's fine. Hello, lucky day. Hope you're doing well since the last time we spoke. Good things are happening, right? Alright. Fang Mao Ping. Oh no, Fang Mao Ping.
仿冒品
You reached 300 items in HanziHero? Awesome. You got a hot pick for me? What's a hot pick in HanziHero? In the last 300 items. What do you got? I was just talking about this term here, counterfeit goods, like what it meant to me, or the essence of the characters. So it reminded me of a lot of things that happened in my life and still happening on the internet on a daily basis. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit before you dropped in.
山洞
Shandong. Congrats on reaching 300 items. Keep up the good work. Lucky day as well.
山洞
Shandong.
扶手椅
Ushoyi. Interesting. Support by the hand chair, right? Up to Dakai. Dakai, yeah. What do you think that means? Just to take out, or to open up, or to pull out. There's quite a lot, but Dakai is fine. You learned this item today? I see. Very nice, very nice. Probably, they probably primarily use it as to open up, Dakai, or to open. Take out is pretty good too, for Dakai. Fu Shou Yi. 我买了一张新的扶手椅。
我买了一张新的扶手椅。
扶手椅弃
To abandon. Interesting. I'm not familiar with this one. Kirby, huh? Dakai is very, very useful. Yeah, Dakai is we got a lot of opportunities to hear that item. or hear that vocabulary word. Kirby is in the bathroom of the house where there's a large tree growing out of a bucket. Okay, in the bathtub. Okay. Kirby goes up to the tree and abandons his elbow pads. Yikes. Next to it before going to the bathroom. He never wants to see that abandoned elbow pad ever again. Ooh, that's rough. Let's switch this up. Got to go? Yeah, take care, Lucky. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck with your good luck until the next time I see you. Good luck, good luck. Keep up the good work. Okay. How do we read? This is not going to go well with the whole abandoning thing. So let's say Kirby went to the bathroom of his house thinking maybe it's about time to put on some gear, right? Some protective gear, because he's always fighting with peeps, right? So he had a bucket helmet, a wooden bucket helmet, and some wooden elbow pads made out of tree wood, right? Tree wood. We're gonna use tree key as a form of wood as well for these. Tree wood. But after seeing how ridiculous he looks and how cumbersome it is, he decided to ditch the bucket, the elbow pads in the bathroom, abandoning the idea, right? I think that's what we're gonna use. And the reason why this is gonna work for me is because Kirby typically wears a hat or head of whatever, like the helmet ornament, whenever he acquires a new skill or a new enemy. And an elbow pad, yeah, you know what? He has stubby arms. Maybe a gauntlet or something is close enough to elbow pad and whatnot. Maybe one of his skills is to like elbow check things. So that's what we're gonna use. I don't think we're gonna use it. This is too way out there. I mean, you can still remember it using the order. But it's fine. I'll add a little bit of meaning to it. Actually, maybe we'll write it in. Get to the habit of writing it in. So, Kirby. Bathroom, right? House. Protection gear. Tree wood. Elbow pads. Tree wood bucket helmet. Elbow pads. Doesn't work. Abandon idea. Right. Probably what we're gonna do. Hey, abandon. Ah, yay. 抛弃. Interesting. 抛弃. Give up? Oh. 放弃. Huh. 放弃. Oh, that makes sense. 放弃. 背弃. To abandon. Fail. Okay. Interesting. Wait, is Bay not back? Back abandoned. Okay, cold shoulder. Is it cold? No. 嫌弃. Oh, dislike. Dislike, abandon, cold shoulder. 嫌弃. We don't have 嫌 yet, but because it's kirai, right? It's kirai. Or kira. Or gen, ken, what have you. Wanikani was here first.
系
Okay.
尾
Gui. Oh, we finally have Gui. What was the first use of this? Kwai. Kwai for lump. Gui. Goofy is in the basement of the beach house by the bay, digging through old beach equipment in the dark, sandy room. Okay, got it, got it. Suddenly, a ghost of an old surfer appears, who startles Goofy to death. Whereupon he too became a ghost, and Goofy goes, "Okay, that's fine. It's goofy enough." I feel like Goofy can also be reduced to what's good, Scooby Doo, as well. Seeing that Scooby Doo is not being used. Right. Drunkard. 酒鬼. 酒鬼. That's kind of humorous. 酒鬼. Coward. Interesting. 胆小鬼. Interesting. 胆小鬼. 胆小鬼. 魔鬼. Oh yeah, 魔鬼. What was the saying that the scriptures, like the monks always say? It's like 魔鬼 phải đi dạo. 魔鬼鬼 phải đi dạo, or something like that. I think that's, I'm not even sure if that's Cantonese or Mandarin. I don't remember. But they always say like devil be gone, right? Please devil leave. Like it's an exorcist. I remember back in the day, well, I still watch those types of things, like monks, like the mysticism, like the Taoism, Confucius kind of programming, like the wuxia stuff, right? 魔鬼 is like 魔鬼 phải đi dạo. So like I'm pretty sure that's Cantonese because of phải đi dạo. Because of it would be more like 快, right? 快啲走 or something. 快. So it's just like, please go away, like quickly go away, please, devil, please go away, kind of thing. So it reminds me of like the Chinese exorcist. They were excising demons and devils. 魔鬼. To make mischief. Interesting. 搞鬼. Nothing for 搞. A ghost. 鬼魂. 鬼魂. Neat.
鬼
All right.
仿冒品
How do you spell fit? Oh, there is an E. Wait, hold up. It's counterfeit French. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yeah, it's an old French word. Yep. Whenever I'm like, wait a minute, I have a spelling error here. It's like, is it French? Counterfeit. Like I wrote counterfeit, FIT. I'm like, wait a minute, there's an E in there. And it's not even the, like, it's even more different than this. But anytime there's like when you start spelling and there's a division, I'm like, I have a feeling this is a French word. Or a French origin. So far we're like 90% on point. Whenever there's like a common, now whenever I have like a common spelling error because there are two things that sound alike, I think 9 out of 10 times it's because of it has something to do, it correlates with its French origin. Now that might be a confirmation bias because a lot of words share French, relations, so that might just be a confirmation bias, the sampling size. Like what are the other choices? Well, it could be Old English, like I'm only going one step back, like the most previous step. So it could be Latin, Old English, Germanic, something entirely unrelated because of loanword situation, and then French. So still, it could be like overwhelmingly there just happens to be like a large number of words are that, but I doubt it. Like for example, what is the word? What is the origin of counter? It's both English and Old French put together, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. So the ones that ends up being a little bit suspicious, it's like entirely or at least it's registered to be more heavily influenced by French. Like I don't know, rendezvous, right? How do you even spell rendezvous? Is it rendezvous? Yeah, that's probably it. uh
山洞
Andong. It's irrelevant if, like I'm not too concerned whether it's correct or not what I'm saying. The idea is I find like being aware of what's happening is really fun, and then watching that awareness, that constant awareness change as you go. Like maybe 2 or 3 years down the line when I'm still constantly revisiting these English words while trying to learn Chinese, Japanese, and Spanish, and even French, and even French itself, my perspective might change, right? The idea that I'm illustrating here is I like living in the moment. I like being aware of these things, observing these things. That's in my opinion what I think I mean when I say someone is very perceptive and observant, right? Those who are not perceptive and observant are those who prescriptionally only observe the things that they are focused on and trying to achieve, not observe what's happening in the time. So one can easily achieve like peak performance in running without understanding that they're starting to wear their leg out, right? That's the difference between like being observant and alert and aware of what you're doing while doing it versus someone who's doing it because they believe in it and trust it, right? I'm always constantly doing these things, and it's fun to see how my opinions and perception changes over time. Or personally, it's fun, not that other people tell me it's fun. I'm not entirely sure if anyone finds this enjoyable or not, like vicariously. I'm not a reactionary, like I don't record reaction things or spend a lot of time summarizing things and giving people TLDRs. So it would take a monumental task, in my opinion, or my personal friend to be able to observe meaningful changes in a digestible amount of time. Like I'm not even sure if people, the new friends that I have, the newer friends from the online scene, remember what I was like 6 years ago. Since then, I've known people more than 6 years ago, and I've often wondered if they ever become aware of all the things that have changed over the years, right? How often, in my opinion, have you had a relationship with someone who wasn't a parasocial relationship that you notice the change as it's happening? Usually it's probably a very close friend or a family member or your significant other or even a sibling that you share a space with or roommates that you share a space with. So online, this type of like reflection that I'm talking about is typically reflection with myself, right? And the one or two occasional people who have seen it transform over the time. Like I can't even begin to explain to you how different right now what I'm doing is from a year and a half, or like getting close to 2 years when I first started language learning. I can't tell you like immense Grand Canyon gap between my experience now versus a year and a half ago. It's a no contest, absolute no contest. And I kind of reasonably thought I was kind of intelligent back then. Like I thought I thought I had certain opinions that were like pretty good, but man, they lacked detail. Now I can say a lot more about things, way more, and still be incredibly enthusiastic about it. Something about that makes life worth living and pursuing all the things you do. So hopefully, if there's anything I want to communicate here, is when you start becoming aware in the present, yeah, you can, most people, I think they got it down packed what they want in life, you know, like the goals and stuff that they go out to pursue. But there's something incredibly viscerally satisfying that keep you going when you stay aware and attentive in the present day as well, so you don't lose focus of the present. And in just like that, you know, just like that, your life feels a lot fuller, in my opinion. It's likely to feel a lot fuller, right? If you're constantly reaching for the future, like in a blink of an eye, you don't know where your time went. Like, what did you do yesterday? Did you remember detail about what you did yesterday? I don't know. I mean, some people, they spend their entire summer, and then I ask them, what did you do in the summer? It's like, I chilled. So you summarized your 3 months of break, and you're going back to that dreaded school that you hate, but it doesn't seem like you like your summer vacation either, because you didn't say anything about it either. Right? That to me is an indication that someone is drifting. In my opinion, they are likely drifting through their lives. And maybe they're drifting because they have a huge goal at the end of the tunnel that they're looking at. That could be a possibility. Usually I ask them like, okay, well, what was your intent for your summer vacation? What did you intend to do? Did you achieve that? You know, did you have fun? Was it summer to have fun? Sometimes you bump into people who say, yeah, I need to make money in the summer and I got it done. Like, that's awesome. That's one more detail about the time you spent than someone who says, I don't know, I just did stuff. Like, that's hopefully you feel good about that next year and the year after that and the year after that, because honestly, life can be as long as you feel it is, and it can be as short as you can feel it is. That's one of the fun things about being human. Something can feel really long when you're paying attention to it, and it can feel very short when you're not paying attention to it. And language learning, sure as heck, has dilated my time. Okay. Oh, yeah.
鬼
Wait. When I hear ghost in my head, I hear Gui. Like, the moment I say Gui, it's ghost. So I don't think we need anything of that. There's still quite I'm gonna say, how many characters are we up to? Like, I think we're past like 1400 characters. I think about 1200 of those characters now are like that this can only mean this. Like, I'm not even saying it can mean this in English. I'm just saying it can only mean this, and it would just be the Chinese word. It's interesting. Like, you know, A 快乐. 快乐 is 快乐. It doesn't have to be happy. Very, very fun feeling. Or interesting feeling. New feeling.
细
Yeah.
扶手椅
手艺. Alright. Trade. Intriguing. Trade. You look suspiciously like something else, which I shouldn't get you confused. What am I thinking of? Leo? Leo. Or Leo. Leo. I think I'm thinking of Leo. Or Liu. Right, Liu. And that is with the sun, I think, underneath. Or it might be, oh no. I don't know. I'm not sure right now. So, right. So it could be either this or this or this or this. Oh no. Although I'm pretty sure it's, I don't know anymore. Well, when I see it, I'll see it. We'll negotiate that in the future. When they stand alone, it's kind of, you gotta pay attention to, you have to be cognizant of those small changes. But when it's in a sentence or a paragraph, then you have a lot of other things to work with. Meow. Mario is in the bathroom of the barn where he is making a trade barn with a shellfish. Okay. Like a, like a moving shellfish because it's Mario. We're thinking about the Mario world, right? It could end up being Yoshi too, though. Which is sitting next to one of the piles of manure in the smelly bathroom. Okay. Mario takes out a giant iron. Where the heck is the iron? Is this an iron? I see it. From his hat, it makes a trade for a sharp sword. Imagine Mario using a sword. I don't think I've... Oh, well, you can kind of make an argument that in melee he could pick up a sword. Or a bat or something. But imagine Mario with a sharp sword that the shellfish hands him in exchange. Okay. But why at a barn? And why an iron? Oh, they're so not good enough. This almost sounds like something from Link. Like this almost sounds like a Zelda thing. Like Legends of Zelda thing. Alright, we'll see how it holds up. Mao Yi. Trade easy? Huh. Okay, foreign trade is fine. Why? Why Mao? Okay. Actually, does this have an alternative? Nope. Okay.
茂 朗
Long. Bright. Well, there is moon. Although we're gonna have to contend with copper here. So Legolas. Okay, how are we different? I remember I needed something to differentiate Link with. And so think of this as Liang, or Liang, which could also sound like bright or something dealing with light. But this is Lang. Although I do have to admit, copper is typically associated with Legolas than it is with Link. Yeah, this is definitely a Lang. More of a, instead of a Liang or Liang. No, excuse me. I'm a wee bit tired. Still from yesterday. Legolas is in the bathroom of the chapel. So I can tie this with Liang. Lang. Lang as in wave. Lang. Which is quite dark. He reaches into his pocket and takes out a shiny elvish moon. Okay. Made of elvish copper that shines quite bright. Okay. He attaches it to the ceiling, making the entire basement bright with a copper glow. The priest thanks him for making the basement bright and thus impervious to demons. Alright. I feel... okay. It could still be confused with Link. Hai Lang. Open bright. Open bright. Or start bright. Open bright. Cheerful. Openly bright. Cheerful. Lang Du. Bright read. Oh, interesting. Bright read to read out loud. Where we at? I think there was another thing for reading out loud. Using a du shuo, maybe? Something like that. Du shuo. Read, say. To read out loud or something. Oh, Ilang. Yeah, Ilang. Iran. Or Iran. Iran. Ilang. Iran. Okay. Okay.
Lang. B.
E. Oh, hey, we finally got nose. The other nose. Yeah, not shoal. B. Bigfoot is in front. Bigfoot is inside the living room of the house where he sees a pedestal. Okay, sure. With nothing on it. He takes out a nose from his pocket that he found earlier in a rice field and places it on top of the pedestal. Oh, I see. Then he gets a marker and writes on the base of the pedestal, rice field nose. Honestly, I think that's very Bigfooty. Maybe like a rice field human nose. Okay. 鼻子, yeah, 鼻子. Oh. 鼻孔 nostril. Sorry, I'm thinking of the Japanese nostril. That's more like what, nakano hana? Nakano hana? No, ano no hana, right? Nose holes. Snot. It was, what was it? Something like hanazoku or something. BT. No T. Nose pad? Like putting on your face pad or B N. Got nothing reference for me. To pick one's nose. I guess the pick. Oh, that's not the same pick. Okay. Got a different pick. Kobitsu. Interesting. Region plus fingers. It kind of speaks for itself. Oh.
B. 辅
Fool to supplement. Yeah. Or support. Oh, there's no supporting. Fool reminds me of also to support something, which is to supplement, but maybe not in the same way. Frankenstein, and it is also fool. Fool, like the new, like fool to support by the hand is also a fool. Okay, Frankenstein. Okay, so how does this relate to the other one? The other one was rotten meats, right? Rotten meats didn't have a trellis in it. Or did it? No. Frankenstein is in the basement of the house where he is working on fixing up his vintage car. Okay? That is stored down there. He is supplementing each of the headrests in the car with a trellis, making them extra sturdy. He also thinks the trellises supplement the aesthetic of the interior as well. That's interesting. I guess that's fine. I don't know how this is distinctively Frankenstein though. Vintage, you know, like old, I guess. A fixer-upper kind of gives you Frankenstein. Frankenstein feeling. Fuchu? No. Fuhu, okay. Fuju. Yeah, makes sense. Help and supplement to assist. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Fuju. It reminds me of to assist or to support or aid.
辅
Supplement.
滚
Gwen. Gwen to roll. Do I have a roll yet? No, I don't have a roll. Koro? Koro is the closest. Does this remind me of Koro? No, it doesn't. Wait, what was Hui being used? Did we not use Hui for a roll? Just for return? Interesting. Like to revolve? No, this doesn't look like Den either. Den for... I'm trying to think of all the Koros. No. I can't think of something related here. Goofy is in the basement. Oh boy. Goofy is in the basement of the infirmary, where he is being locked away as he is going insane. Or misunderstood. He is being misunderstood. He wears a dress and has a pair of where are the fins? Okay, I guess those are fins. Fins instead of legs. Fins sticking out of his mouth. Okay. He rolls around on the basement floor as nurses watch over him, sometimes spraying him with water in hopes of making him chill out. He won't stop rolling around and around. Where the heck did the lid go? Oh, I see. I forgot they do this. They break up dress. It's like in the dress. So, oh, that's kind of interesting. So he's rolling around in a dress. With fins in his mouth. Kind of like a doggo. Okay. I got a mental image. We're good. Do we have enough? Nope. Dong is motion. Dong. Rock music? Oh, rock and roll. Wait. No, not rock and roll. Or maybe rock and roll. Yao? Yao has... No. Shake? Oh, that makes sense. Rock. Shaking. Yes. Yao Gun Ye. Rock, shake, roll, or rock, roll music. Rock and roll music. Nice. Very nice. Scalding? What the... I'm actually not quite clear on what scalding is. Oh, scalding. Oh, so that's how you spell scalding for very hot or burning. I thought it was scolding. Or no, it is scalding. Scalding, but I thought it was spelled scolding. Not scolding. I don't think this is a French thing though. This is one of the examples that are not French. This is most definitely something like Latin. Oh no, there's some French inspiration on it. Yeah, there's some French inspiration. Huh. Scolding. I'm not sure if I've ever said scolding or ever spelled scolding. An A. Huh. The more you know.
滚
Okay. Wait, what did the word mean? I've lost the word. Was he being weird? He was locked up. Oh, he was rolling around. Ugh. That's a weak one for tomorrow. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
帽 笔
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
朗
Mm-hmm.
滚
Mm-hmm.
斧
Yeah, this one's gonna be a problem. Okay. Okie dokie. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Get in. Lock in. Or attempt to.
移
Pass on is good. Or leave behind is fine, but pass on is fine too. Bequeath. Oh boy. Oh no. Just kidding.
马尾
那个女孩的马尾很长。
疑问
如果你有任何疑问，请告诉我。
煮
Excuse me.
折断
他不小心折断了筷子。
无所谓
我对他说的话都无所谓。
It's casual. To be indifferent. Or you could try to say casual. 无所谓. Eh, you know, I'm indifferent. Sure.
树叶，
树叶变成了黄色。
粪，团聚，
我期待着新年的团聚。
毕竟，
他毕竟是我的孩子。
The heck was B? Complete. Yep.
是，怀念，
他怀念过去的生活方式。
Ugh. That didn't work.
刷，团圆，
我期待着我们的团圆饭。
Oh. Double reunions.
.登机，
我讨厌登机。
登机 What? Oh. Whoops. That's you. Huh.
俗，
We practice this one.
减肥，
医生要他减肥。
Just the GN part.
多余，
这份文件有一些多余的资讯。
镜子，
这是一面大镜子。
猪，增，
That was the wrong tone.
吃惊，
突然传来的响声把我吃惊了。
What? Huh. Oops. Wrong tone. YOLO? Dang it.
聚会，
我们明天有聚会。
宝石，
他收藏了很多宝石。
Gemstone, I guess. Gemstone. 吃惊 like what? To be startled? I mean, that's fine. I think frightened is fine too. It's good enough for what I'm trying to, what I imagine in my head. A sudden fright. To be startled. Why am I having a hard time with who the person is? Nope.
雨伞，
雨伞可以防止我们淋湿。
Oops.
是雨，缩，静，
Practice that. Jobu. Jobu. Oh no. Okay, let's think about this. The chariot and the finger, right? Oh wait. I think we're fine with
挥舞，
他左右挥舞着国旗。
挥舞 wave? Okay. Oh, that's just to board a plane. What? Author?
作者，
Okay.
龟，
Ah!
显眼，
这块补丁太显眼了。
Conspicuous. So I think conspicuous is gonna be to weak.
流泪，
他一想到他就流泪了。
流泪 What the 流泪
森，
What? Oh, they want forests instead of woods? Okay. Oh, 流泪 Silent floating? No. floating kind, like a drift? Like a drifter? Oh no, oh no, oh no, that's tears. Oh no, okay. We're fine. It's a
历史
one-off.
历史是研究过去的学问。
It's fine. It's a one of those occasional hiccups.
尺子
我家里有一把尺子。
大丈夫です。没问题，没问题。
夫妻
他们夫妻俩又吵了。
Yes, to flow tears, to cry. I can't compute shed tears to cry to. That's close enough. I cannot compute English. Send help. Okay.
挑选
他挑选了一件红色衬衫。
Okay. What would this be? James Bond? Why am I drawing a blank on? I know what this is, but oh, I did. Did I not type B? Did I type B? I probably typed B. That's a typo. And I had to think about something else because I thought the first one was.
丈夫
她的丈夫想离婚。
I could have sworn it's that. Maybe it's what?
避免
我们应该避免浪费食物。
照片
我们再拍一张照片。
What the I gotta think about that. I think something I think it's wrong is
松树
I think
松鼠喜欢爬松树。
灯椅
practice this too.
丢失
我丢失了我的钱包。
时
Whoa! Wait.
哪怕
哪怕下雨也要去。
the heck is just an escalator?
急
Or raise? Or ascend?
母亲
他对母亲很尊敬。
大鼠
那位大叔正在公园散步。
Is it like raise to a level to reach? Yeah, to raise. To get to. I think raise is fine. Not quite the same, but I was thinking of like getting like raising your hand to get to a point, to reach a point. Happening here.
大概
大概下午5点。
手
What? Oh, is that supposed to be Ga or Pa? That's right. Huh.
抓住
一把抓住他的袖子。
Oh. Ooh, oh, I missed the I. The heck?
攒
I thought we covered this yesterday. Not.
北极
圣诞老人住在北极。
Okay.
订单
接到订单后30分钟后会送达。
丑大麻
大麻在许多地方是非法的。
静
Ah! Wrong tone.
将
What? Hold up. Dang it! I typed 1 instead of I typed 4. It's okay. It's fine. We're fine.
左派、
这个组织被认为左派的。
Fine.
火柴、
不要玩火柴。
中学、
我不喜欢中学。
脆弱、
这棵树苗很脆弱。
不太、
这个问题不太难。
Okay.
木柴、
我们需要一些木柴来煮食物。
扶持、
政府应该扶持小型企业。
粗、
Hmm.
猪、
Ah! Oh.
郊区、清脆、
这些苹果很清脆。
Mm. Okay. What? Oh, okay. Oops, wrong tone.
蛋糕、
That was embarrassing. I don't want to talk about it.
拼图、
我喜欢玩拼图游戏。
心态、
心态良好。
糕点、
他每天下午都喜欢吃糕点。
吓一跳、
这个消息让大家都吓一跳。
It's to get scared, to get startled, but it's also to be frightened. Again, same difference. When I think about someone getting frightened, they are suddenly frightened, get startled.
勇、慢、
What? Ah! I don't want to talk about it.
郊外、
郊外的景色很美丽。
猪、偶、欣赏、
他欣赏这幅画。
Oh no, I'm drawing a blank. Oh. Son of a bee sting.
咬牙，
我们要咬牙向前。
Son of a bee sting. I went with my gut that time. Didn't work.
母鸡，
那只母鸡下了100多个蛋。
怨言，软实力，
美国的软实力是无法衡量的。
魔，
What? Oh, that's Quake. I didn't even read that. Oh boy.
关，下，
Heck.
土堆，
他们在公园里看到一个巨大的土堆。
姓名，
我记下了他的姓名。
I guess full name. Fine. Hmm. What in the world? Oh, that's pie. Pie.
低估，
不要低估学习中文的乐趣。
光滑，
这地板很光滑。
What in tarnation? YOLO? Okay. I have no idea. Oh.
管，滑梯，
公园里有一座高大的滑梯。
怨气，
他的话充满了怨气。
西
What? Dang it. That's a typo.
品牌
这是一个知名的品牌。
镇
Or headstone. That's fine.
估计
我估计他会放弃。
I almost typed bath there.
弯曲
这条河很弯曲。
荣幸
能帮助你是我的荣幸。
享受
我享受我的生活。
软件
这款软件很容易使用。
Dang it. That's G.
观众
观众近5万人。
Oh, what are you? I think it's I really thought it was like E
一并
Okay.
工资与奖金一并发放。
Kind of like this along with together or combine. Oh yeah, combined. We're just gonna give combined. Fine. Oh, I'm screwing up. Screwing up. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing.
素敏忍不住
我太累了，忍不住打哈欠。
It's a. Oh, what?
电子版
这是文章的电子版。
Okay. Heck, I lost it. I lost it. Dang it. Yellow? Okay. Gone.
年
Oh, that's yeah. What?
令
What? Hmm. No. I'm gonna say. No, that wasn't. I knew that wasn't. Oh,
顿，家乡，
他离开了他的家乡。
寸，
it's still a measure, but I'm guessing it's an inch too. I think we're gonna use measure. It is inch, but we'll use measure. As well. Oops, that's full. What are you? A stalk, but that's just a stalk? Something dealing with a line? Or no?这条路，是一个美丽的 background scenery. Hmm. I don't know. Okay, xiang is correct. Oh, it's a curve. Whoops, that's a curve. Dang it. No, that's fine. Qi, right, qi. I should known that because I already put qi in wang qi. Wang qi. I don't, why I do this?
反，
Why? What is this? Just being a pep right now with that.
国外，
我目前住在国外。
Or outside the country. What's happening? Oh, I'm misreading the left side. I'm missing reading the left side. I was so triggered by Bing that I stuck on Bing. That's not it.
会，请示，
这件是我们的寝室。
Invite to show, demonstrate. That's the closest thing I thinking.
堆积，
他的书桌上堆积了很多文件。
丰富，
他们的文化很丰富。
Or satisfying or valuable. I guess valuable probably better. Didn't think that through.
交，曲线， 土、年轻、
他年轻的时候，
Or abroad, yeah, that's fine. Or introduction. Introduce is good. Ask for instructions, yeah. Introduce is fine too. Like to introduce to something. Ask for instructions, fine. Ask for instructions. I get demonstration. To demonstrate is also something that deals with instruction. When you're asking. And then I screwed up on because that's left, so it's actually not that. Pinging.
拼音、
汉字英雄帮助你记住每个字的
I'm
拼
like,
音。
what the heck is a Bing Ying? A Bing Ying? I didn't know for a really long time. This is to invite to show, or to ask for instructions, or a demonstration, or something like that. And then maybe like valuable is good. Or rich. Plentiful riches. Wealthy. Like rich, wealthy, valuable, useful, worthwhile. That's more than just rich. In that way. Highly valuable. And then oh,
把、
or pull out. Okay. I think we're fine. All the stuff's pretty good. Negotiable. Very negotiable today. After listening to the same set of tracks for so long now, I definitely know which ones are the highlights, and that was one of the ones. Lilac Sky is definitely one of the highlights. I need to find some time to trim down the track list and then experiment with more tracks. There are definitely ones that I don't even notice, but there are ones that legitimately take me into a different mood. Okay. B. Gwen. Way. T. Mall. Ooh. Oh, I just realized I started doing the Wanikani thing. 相仿 煤矿 漏洞。遵守。遵守。竞选。美气。相动。相动。扶手。扶手仪。扶手仪。No， 扶手仪。手仪。OK。竞争。长。长脚。Oh no. Yes. No. Just kidding. Wait. Oh yeah. 掌声。掌声。镭射。wait, yeah. No, 镭射。镭射。脚。脚掌。脚掌。脚掌。OK。仿冒。仿冒品。Okay, we have Bigfoot coming back into the living room of his house and he set aside a pedestal. Like he had a pedestal where he retrieved a nose, a human nose, from a nearby rice paddy. Right. Hopefully that person didn't need their nose. And then we have Legolas. Legolas is in the basement. Followed the priest to the basement. Solve a lighting issue. He pulled out a glowing moon-shaped object, a moon-shaped object that's made of copper that glowed with moonlight, right, to brighten up the place. And the priest thanked them. An elvish moon-shaped device, I suppose. And we have Goofy, who's in the basement, locked up in the infirmary for being weird. And he's weirdly dressed in a dress, right? In a dress with like fins in his mouth, and he's like rolling around. And the infirmary is trying to condition him by spraying him. Try to get him to behave normally, I suppose. Then we have Goofy once again. This time he made his way to the basement of a beach house. Curious about what's down there. And while he was down there, he encountered a ghost. Right. Frightened him as well. Scared him to death. And now he is a ghost. Now we have Kirby. Herbie went up to the bathroom of his house, trying to think of if it's a good idea to wear some protection. So he has a wooden, some wooden elbow pads and a bucket for a helmet, right? A bucket for a helmet. And after looking in the mirror, it's like, nah, he abandoned the idea after all. Sticking to sucking people in and stealing their abilities. Okay, then we have Mario. Whoops. We have Mario, who sneaking into the bar, going to the bar's bathroom to cut a trade with a shellfish. They exchanged in what he picked up some iron, I suppose. Some iron and traded it for a sharp blade or sharp sword. Alright, and then we have Frankenstein in the basement of his house, working on restoring a Frankenstein of a car, right? A Frankenstein of a car by removing the seats. Wait. How does this work? By supplementing the seats with trellises as a makeshift way, I suppose. As a makeshift way to reinforce. I think we're okay. We're okay today. Pretty good. It's alright. Nothing egregious. There are a few hiccups here and there. Not too bad. Alright folks, that's wrap for HanziHero today. I'll watch this later. 谢谢. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up HanziHero for yourself, give it a try. Feel free to stop on by, share your progress, talk about your stuff, you know, and come with some thoughts, some highlights, as always, like a little bit of digression in the middle there with counterfeit and whatnot, and then led to maybe somewhat of a conversation, or actually that was the previous thing, but the counterfeit thing, yeah. Often something that's close to my heart. There's a very distinctive line nowadays online between someone who is narrow-minded. Not that it's bad or good. People can be perfectly happy living in a world that is not inclusive, right? At the same time, I usually don't think of it that way, so it's very difficult to go back and pretend like other perspectives don't matter and how bigger picture, you know, it's kind of hard to divorce yourself from once you've become informed and understand. It's hard to compartmentalize that, or at least in my opinion, or I don't find it very attractive to compartmentalize. And that was like largely my comment about counterfeit goods or imitation, the idea of imitation, right, being cheap and secondary. I think it is different. There's a really noticeable difference between someone who understands the value of the things they're comparing and appreciating the things they're comparing versus someone who makes a comment out of the ignorance of one-sided arguments. So when someone's making a comparison, when you only state the things you know in favor of the things you care about, and only state the things you don't know or absent in the things you don't care about, that to me is what is a telltale sign of someone who is narrow-minded and inexperienced and overreaching their knowledge. It is presented very differently from someone who has an appreciation for the things they're comparing. It's rarely that black and white, right? And for those who experience a lot of times pursuing knowledge and critical thinking skills. They often talk and speak in a way that accommodates the idea that they're admittant and agreeable, that they understand, while they continue to learn more things about subject matters that they're comparing. They also have that impotence of that constant familiarity of understanding that there's a lot that they don't know. So making commentary when we'll talk about it as though it's so simple, or creating wild leaps of logics and constant confirmation bias while negating and chastising or trivializing and generalizing things. It gives an impression of cursory knowledge, right? It's not to say that that person may not have detailed knowledge, but the way they present it would indicate that they're not interested in engaging in detailed discussions, which I tend to stray away from. I tend to observe these things and then every once in a while, engage in it, but those things are not scalable to such commentary. The internet is a world of TLDRs. Ain't got time to read, right? Or ain't got time to talk. But you're more than welcome to stop on by. I would love to chat, talk about things, maybe in a little bit more detail than your average thing. That's what I'm here for. Anyways, until then, if you're only interested in HanziHero and Chinese or traditional Chinese in this matter, 大家下次见。感谢观看. Thank you for, see you next time, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna get up, stretch, and we're gonna do one last thing, right? We're gonna do a little update on PSO2 and GS. I'll be back in a few. Thank you.